Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us again for our next panel, where we're going to be talking about upskilling and the importance of lifelong learning. Right now, we have myself, obviously, and then Claudia and James. We're just going to start off with introductions and let them say a little bit about themselves and what they do before we kick it off with questions. Claudia, you want to go ahead?
Yes, absolutely. I own a company that does software, app development, web development, and we're passionate about technology, but more than anything, we're passionate about strategy, because technology with a strategy, it's nothing. So my company name is Vinove, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is James Henderson. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, field artillery. I own a company called Misha Solutions. It's a AI Socratic method tutoring to amplify teachers to help K through 12 students. So for any teachers out there that are looking to help personalize their help and their needs, we'd love to help you out. So yeah, technology is a big deal, and learning is definitely needed more than ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess the first question would be for veterans and learning, what do you think is the most important mindset to develop for a lifelong learner? James?
Definitely just keep learning. We learn as veterans that, especially in the sense of AI, that learning is going to be, things are going to be changing so rapidly that skills in the past, our skill sets in the past would last about an average of 4 years. Since then, professionals have come out that's going to be diminishing even smaller sense. So in today's workforce, they're gonna want to see that you're interacting with today's latest technology to keep your skills up, to maneuver through those trenches, to think on your feet, to keep that edge of moving to the next step in whatever your field is.
What do you, as someone who's like involved in tech and using AI to learn through the Socratic method, which side comment I love. I think the Socratic method is the best way to learn. What is the tools out there outside of education that veterans can use to become lifelong learners or get upskilled?
Right now, there's literally a new tool that's being developed every single day. But there's Google LLM, which is a notebook that Google has developed that you put in a phrase or paragraph, and you can get experts chatting about your scenario back and forth to give you that conversation or that podcast to help you learn more about your skills and techniques out there. There's ChatGPT 5 that just rolled out, which has pretty much eradicated my old masters in education and architectural engineering. So like I said, you've got to constantly stay up with today's technology, because your old skills that you've went to school for, it's being eradicated by something even that's better out there. That there's besides Gemini, there's Perplexity, which is a knowledge base. That what it used to take 9 months to go out there and get educated, to learn something new, and to master to whatever you wanted to help with your education to get it literally takes you only several months or a month, thanks to ChatGPT now.
Yeah.
You can get very specific in what you want to learn, and it's there.
Absolutely. And I just want to add to that you would think about AI and all the tools and everything. It's kind of like a world of a lot of things, and you wonder how you can upskill. How can you do that? I like to think on a systematic way, and the mindset is more about curiosity. What is getting you curiosity? And I like the concept about ikigai. Ikigai is basically what you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, what it can create impact. And I like to think it about frameworks. A lot of people read a lot of books in the different ways, but if you can say, okay, I will learn, this is my curiosity, I will learn about this, and then you can create a framework of books, let's say leadership or anything that grabs your attention and that you think you're good at, and you get affirmation about that and go through it. Like you said, Perplexity, ChatGPT, everything will increase your knowledge. But the thing is, at first you need to know who you're becoming and what are your skills, where you already have those natural stuff that you go into a flow, and the attention when you do something, you lose track of time. That is what I think it's your main thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the age of AI, human connectedness, whether it's to other people or self-awareness, is really important, because the tools are there to like guide you through the journey. But I think a lot of people, are intimidated by that journey of self-reflection. Like they don't know where to start. We did have a company on here earlier called BetMap, which I think is could be great for that. So go back and check that video out. But overall, I think it's kind of in human nature to want to connect with people more than like, let me come up with a framework in my mind and go talk to an AI bot. So let's kind of shift the topic to programs that you guys are aware of that may be out there for veterans. Is anything come to the top of mind? Programs like IVMF 020, Onward to Opportunity, anything of that nature spring to mind?
There are a lot of resources where you can veteran or anybody can check it out. Like you're talking, I mean, LinkedIn Learning is one of the things. And you're right. So people are intimidated with technology, with the AI and everything. One thing I will say there is that they think ChatGPT is an assistant, but it could be your thought partner. You can ask questions and get back and forth, and then they will allow you to start looking for what you want to do. Other things are like something that goes into, I love psychology, is like there are strength tests. I don't know if you're familiar about Gallup tests. There have like a lot of a test that will tell you your top 5. In my opinion, is like, don't try to work on your weakness, hire on your weaknesses, and really double down on your strengths. And it's something that it helped me personally to see where my strengths were. Is like taking that test and knowing where I go. And you will know more if you go to that website. I don't know if you can add it in the links.
Clifton Strengths.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be something that it helped me as a person.
Yeah, I love that. Like kind of going back to that journey of self-awareness, right? So that's great. What about you, James?
Going back to the interest, when I was going through a transition and I saw that programming wasn't going to be in my future when ChatGPT 5 came out, I noticed that, okay, when Misha and my wife, we talked about the Socratic learning and how kids were struggling. So we saw different AI companies, how they succeeded and how others failed. And so I went out there and called several different AI companies, ones that I thought were doing good. And I said, so I called them up and say, listen, in any possible way I can spend, half a day with you and just talk about your failures and why you succeeded. And they said, yeah. And so I went out there, asked tons of questions from one CEO to the other. A lot of them just did not have a problem because they were excited that I actually called out there and was interested in their company. And some of them were also veterans, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so that was a pretty big deal. And it was just a matter of also interacting with the Syracuse University, the IVMF program, veterans boot camp to veterans, those programs which are free. You can search them on LinkedIn. So if you're here in Texas, which I'm assuming most of your vets are US wide?
Yeah, we're focused on San Antonio, but
Okay.
we'll be streaming this out. So hopefully it gets to as many veterans as possible.
Okay. And for the Texas veterans, we have the Hazelwood Act. So if you've already ran through the GI Bill, well, we got the Hazelwood Act that it'll pay for, higher education to help out. But there's still a lot of, companies out that are willing to help veterans to, help get your business idea off the ground. Or if you've got an idea and you're just want to, talk to other guys, hey, listen, I get this idea, would you mind, talking, and not sharing my idea, you just call. I talk to people all the time.
Yeah.
I got a stack of, non-disclosures, but I'll give them all the secrets, hey, listen, I'll go to ChatGPT. This is how I set up my chats, and I'll go to, this is how I set up my podcast, all that.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I'm pretty liberal with like sharing information about our company. I get warned all the time, like, hey, you should get NDA signed, or but I'm like, anyone can take an idea, but
Right.
a few people take an idea and run
And
with it.
execution.
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
the difference.
And I'm always happy to sign an NDA, but I rarely ask for one. Right. So you mentioned Syracuse University, which I kind of touched on a little bit.
Yeah.
IBMF O2L. So do you see these programs having sustained value going forward for veterans, where they could just go to an AI and like learn Socratically with it to learn that knowledge base?
The questioning is always good. However, though, in today's AI world, I think it's the networking that's now becoming more important. So, because you're going to start realizing that AIs, you're starting to see a flood of advertising.
Oh, yeah.
And you're now having to question your advertisement, see whether or not it's true or not.
Yeah.
And so it's really getting out there and networking. That's where Syracuse, brings in the networking. Texas A&M has a great networking program.
Yeah.
Guys like you can, has a great networking program of vetted military veterans.
So the programs, what I'm hearing is the programs still offer value.
Right.
But I guess majority of the value is the networking that comes with it. Obviously still learn the material or whatever the upskilling program is, but make sure you're focused on building the network while you go through that
building the connections.
Right.
Mentorship.
Okay. I mean, I agree with that 100%. I think that's definitely the way everything is going. That's why I know we're talking about upskilling and lifelong learning, but this has really become a conversation around AI. It's a huge part of that, and what that means for us as people. I personally believe that AI will, like you guys have touched on, require or necessitate more human connection to really kind of navigate through whatever field you're in. So let's shift gears a little bit and try to reel it back into the upskilling thing. So aside from an individual going through these programs and taking advantage of them, whether for the upskilling or the networking, how can a veteran business owner utilize, or how do you think a veteran business owner can utilize these programs for their workforce to the company's benefit? Any thoughts on those?
Yeah, I think it is something for people that are very passionate about learning, and something that I notice is sometimes at the beginning I will be learning and learning and learning. It will be like nonstop learning. But the thing is, if you don't apply what you learn, or if you don't share, it will stay with you. You will not be able to see results. And it's something that you can go and apply anything on. And one thing that I go back to systems is that whatever you want to do is measure the impact. There is something that is called reach, and it's a method where you can see what's the reach, where will be the impact, and will be worth. It's a low effort, high impact, and that's how you choose there. Okay, this company needs this, and this is how it can make the major impact without a lot of resources, a lot of learning, and a lot of that. So sometimes it's finding that how you make a difference, and you can just get to the next level.
What about you, James?
And in my case, it's the start and the finish that are still the same. It's the process in the middle that's going to be completely changed. And so it's like the guy that you're going to hire to do marketing, or the guy that you can hire to do writing, if you can specifically put down the style, the format, and the topic, then models are going to get extremely good at writing exactly what you want for each of the different platforms, for you to then send it out and to help you to get the word out. And then so that'll be taken care of. I just came back from California, and It3 just came out. Well, It3 will never be in the movies. A kid actually wrote it. Well, they were dealing with copyright issues, so that was one thing. But they were giving the creators now the ability to, instead of it going through the Hollywood machine, now to sit down at the keyboard and then stick it on YouTube. So that's a plus. So now you, the creator, now have the full power of doing whatever you want. And 3, the world is going to completely change. And so you're going to be able to take whatever you want and get it out the door a lot quicker than anything else. I mean, it's like Misha.Solutions should have took, if this was 6 years ago, almost 3 years to build with a total of 6 developers. It only took me 9 months to build, just with me.
Yeah.
So
So everyone's capability is increased.
Yeah.
For a veteran business owner, then does that pose a threat to their livelihood as a business? If their workforce is coming in and at any minute their workforce could go use these tools, how does a veteran business owner provide upskilling or incentive to keep their workforce with them in that scenario? Does that make sense?
It's going to be up to them as individuals to make sure that they stay on top of it, to increase their knowledge.
Yes, I agree with him. And also, there's one more thing. Not everybody will want to be entrepreneur. There's some be intrapreneurial. And as a business owner, recognize the talent and see what else you can offer to that talent, so they will stay with you. And if it's generating you more revenue and everything, everybody wins. It's you as an owner seeing like, okay, how can I make it nice for everybody to work with me?
So the way I'm hearing it is really, it comes back to that human connection piece. Like you as a business owner, empowering your people, knowing your people, empowering them in the right way with the right tools and skills to increase the organizational capabilities, while also like, making them happy, essentially making them feel
part
fulfilled.
of the mission.
Yeah.
Like part of
So yeah, that's just like comes back to it is making us more human almost.
right.
So I think that's a beautiful thing that I wasn't expecting to come out of this conversation. What else? There was a question pinging around in my head, and now it's like escaped me. Oh, I know what it was. You're in federal contracting. So we talked a lot about marketing, and that's definitely out there with AI and stuff. But you're in the federal contracting space. How do you see upskilling in that space happening? And since we've been talking about AI so much, AI in that space.
Absolutely. And it goes back to the upskilling or evolving with uncertainty, because a lot of things are changing in government. And one thing that is changing is basically, before you can do custom everything, custom apps, custom everything. Now government is going away from that and is getting more about SaaS to reduce the cost. So basically it's noting how is this evolving. It's probably going more into innovation or seeing what is out there and how you can make a difference, how you set yourself apart from everybody else, right? It goes back again, networking, talking, building relationships, but it's also knowing what's happening to the level of what the new the new president's doing, what is the government doing, and where is the government going. AI, it really surpassed a lot of capacities, even in government, and government's trying to catch up. So 5 years from now, it will be completely different. So right now we have an opportunity, I see as a window of opportunity to really go and use the technology and our advantage. And if you're not sure, really try ChatGPT and start using it as a top partner. Like ask questions going back and forth. And if you read some of the books, you can even refer to this book, talk about this, and instead of conversation, it will help you a lot. And also about the news, you can see what's going on in federal contracting. And like we both know that things change drastically. So, but it could be, if you have to go to a mentality, okay, change, what is the opportunity? It's always an opportunity, and then just evolve on that, see what skills do you need, and then go from there.
And just like a plug for you, you'll be at the ASIA event in November doing a
teaching how to prompt ChatGPT. I had a custom ChatGPT, so you can use for different things. Basically, anything. The ChatGPT has all the information on the internet, but if you don't assign it a persona, or you don't tell it how to react, what you're looking for, you're gonna have anything. But if you know how to prompt, will be a lot easier. And now the next gen is genetic AI, which is the AI will think of itself and reasoning, but you need to know both to see where everything is evolving. It's a lot of fun, and people think it's just technology, but like we discussed, it's a lot of a human connection about your expertise, about your qualities, and about how to learn. And I see it as a positive, and I see it as an opportunity. Of course, there's a lot of regulation that needs to be still work on it, but that's probably where the workforce will go in the future.
Well, you mentioned the prompt engineering, and James, earlier you said you essentially called it something else. You said if you structure it in the right way and you give it enough information, like it's going to produce results way better than you, which is essentially prompt engineering.
Right. And so you can write a prompt, but if you say improve prompt, it'll also improve it and fill out a bunch of information. So that's another way to help some of you guys out.
Engineering, to do a good prompt, you really need critical thinking, reasoning, but at the same time, there was I think it was an MIT study that came out that showed that people who used AI had like decreased retention or cognitive output or something of that nature.
You should read the brain statics. Yeah. And it's even worse on kids with the logical thinking and the neural networks that are firing off in the brain.
Yeah. So I guess the question being, we want to become lifelong learners. We have this incredible tool, this Socratic AI tool, this tool that requires critical thinking and reasoning to create good outputs, but at the same time, it's maybe potentially getting abused and not used the best way, and hurting our ability to think critically. How do we navigate through that?
So from an adult point, it's a two-part question. From a kid to an adult point, at the age of around 25, people can argue. Your brain literally.
Like I was still a kid when in my 30s.
Yeah, your brain still has to fire on all the neural networks for your brain to fully develop. Kids today are going to ChatGPT and some other networks and just getting that instant gratification of getting the answer and moving on. So the brain isn't getting fully developed. And so what's eventually going to happen is ChatGPT is going to be smarter for the adults for tomorrow, which is pretty sad. And adults, well, they're not thinking, they're not using their logical their skills to constantly, think and to use those neural networks. And so as their neural networks aren't firing off, what happens is your old folks' homes are going to start to fill up here pretty soon as we start to get older.
Oh wow! And they'll have maybe dementia.
Yeah, so dementia starts to set in if the brain isn't constantly being used.
I have something about that too. Maybe the other side of the coin. I think it's true, but it depends how to use it. As I read another study where actually the people that benefit the most using AI are the older generation.
Mhm.
Why? It's because the older generation, and I'm talking not older like 60, 80, well, that could even be that case. I'm talking about the adults that have life experiences, that already have experience, already have things that they're already done, and they can use AI and use that experience because they already had that experience. So they just basically amplifying that capability on that, so that you use the ChatGPT just to do things without you putting any input. And it's like, just write me this email, do this, do that. Like, you're gonna lose that. But if you think strategically and think about, okay, I need to do this because of this, this, and this, and you have a strategy, you already think that critically, and that is teaching in the schools and everything is really more about um, applying what they learn, and not just for the test. But that's a completely different conversation. But it's really going after the result versus just after checkbox.
Yeah. So the combination of like dementia as people abuse it and they get into older age, younger people abusing it, just going for the results.
Mm-hmm.
I
Going for
guess
the grades.
Going for the grades. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the result. Do you think that AI should be regulated in a sense that, like for schools where it's used under lock and key, like very tight permissions?
Ethically, yes.
Uh-huh.
So, and what I mean by ethically,
Practically, no.
And yeah, ethically, yes. Practically, we still want it's the new library, because it's still, everything in the world is right there in your fingertips. But we got to still ethically, of course, we don't want kids, to bring Playboy up, or how to create a bomb, or
Right.
or supercharge a jet engine inside of a car, at the age of 14. Okay, not yet.
No,
But
Is that example? Has someone tried to do that?
a bomb, yes.
Oh,
So yeah,
Yeah.
and plus, take, of course, there's been feds here in the state of Texas where they took clothing off of children. You don't want that.
yeah.
But so ethically, yes, you still want to moderate it, but you still would like to have AI in there, because it is a new library. It is the conversation that a child can have when it's talking about a DNA molecule of water, and what happens when you introduce oil into it, and then when you got sunlight decompose into it, and you can sit there and have a conversation with it at 2:00 in the morning when you're studying for a test.
Yeah. So I want to add to that is AI is not new, and automation has been happening for a while. I think the key is to teach our kids or everybody to the creativity, critical thinking, everything else, and how to use things that will amplify that. And not so much for standardizing everybody, like knowing what their talents are and how they can amplify those talents. I think that's how AI comes. And AI is already here. If we cannot fight the gravity, is like we were discussing, is that really putting some schools already did that, is they putting some awareness on what they cannot do, the child cannot do, right? So, but we're not going to, I'm here. So.
The genie's out of the bottle. A lot better get into the Do you guys have any insights on programs or
Just to say that one thing that I admire about veterans is the discipline, and it's something that just thank you for the service, and there's a lot of people that want to support them. That's all.
I mean, definitely keep learning. If you're just getting out, you really can't screw up when it comes to AI. Just get on there, start asking questions. There's tons of free videos on LinkedIn Learning and YouTube, and so that's so yeah. Like I said, I'm always open for a call too.
Me too.
Is there anywhere people can find you guys if they want to connect and learn more about programs or AI specifically or anything?
Yeah.
You can't spell. Actually, I don't even know if I spelled it. That might be a typo.
Yeah,
So
that's
don't
okay.
look at that.
Yes. And Vinove is a company, so you can write to contact us too.
Yeah, James Henderson with Misha Solutions. So it's
LinkedIn.
Yeah, on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So.
And then of course me, Alantheus. I'll probably be the only one.
Yeah.
Wherever you look for me. Do we have any questions, Henry?
No, not sure any questions.
No. Yes, sir.
You mentioned about calling and asking the CEOs, if you can spend half a day with them and stuff. What's your, if someone's, if you don't know, you don't want to annoy the CEO. You don't want to, so just how was your experience doing it? I know, I've heard other people talk about their experiences, but it's always nice to hear, especially in your industry, how you went about exactly doing that.
Out of the 5 guys I called, 3 of them were success, 2 of them were asses. And so the 3 guys that I got to talk to, it was, hey, my name's I'm running a company called Misha Solutions, and I'm running an AI company. We're not competitors. I just want to know the pitfalls that you had on your back end, of the AI solutions that you had, and I got very specific on cost, on accounting, and on people that I knew that I was going to have problems with, and said, listen, is there any time that I can spend 10 minutes with you? Well, that 10 minutes actually became 4 hours on with 3 of them. And it was
it a cold outreach, cold call?
Cold call.
100%.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Pretty good success rate.
Yeah.
Cold call, yeah.
And a lot of them were just because they've gone to a point to where they've got their guys in place. So they were excited to talk to someone. And and knowing that you're starting up,
There's
would-
people want to help.
yeah, they wanted to help.
Yeah,
That kind of brings up like another question in my mind for like startup entrepreneurs. Sometimes they're not always prepared for the emotional aspect of it, especially when you're young and like you do have a big dream and you might not be self-aware enough to realize maybe I am not doing the right thing here. So how would you recommend someone ups their skills, or what skills should they focus on psychologically, like as a personality, like understanding people and being able to face obstacles, when you get a phone call and two of them are asses, like you said, and then they, how do y'all recommend skill building for that?
With me, I rely heavy on my faith, and I have 2 Great Danes. So when it was frustrating, I just all of a sudden I have a 85-pound 7-month-old puppy. It is hard to miss him. So I've got to take him outside. So now all of a sudden that phone call's in the past. So I've got to now take care of the puppy, because if he makes a mess on the floor, it's a big mess. So yeah, was it frustrating? Yeah, but you still got to look forward.
Yeah, and I like that. I love about this story about why you did it. Also, I think see it as a numbers game. See everything. Try to detach from that and say, okay, he actually calls 5 people and he got your success rate is amazing. Like, by the way,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
3.
I was lucky.
yeah,
I
Right?
missed that too well.
Sometimes it doesn't happen that way, but that it's still like you think, okay, maybe 10%, maybe 15%. You are really expecting the no's, and the more rejection that you have, the more that you're gonna build up for the next thing, and say, okay, I'm starting from that one day. I mean, write like from today, write something what you want to read next year, and then you will see how you evolve. Because sometimes we just go like, I want to be there, but you don't see your journey, what you're becoming. Every time you go into your fear, because it's what you learn, it's kind of like a circle. Sometimes you grow this circle, and then to go to the next level is when you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And then you go to the next one, and so that's part of growing. So
I would add to that too is the numbers game. Like whatever number you set way lower. Like if you think, oh, I'm gonna have a 5% success rate, make it 1%, right? And work from that like lowest worst case scenario. So that really helped me frame mentally. So for me, when I went through boot camp, I imagined like complete, and I was a Marine, by the way, and I imagined complete and utter like hell. And the reality was much better than what I had built. So I was like, I quite enjoyed boot camp.
expectations.
And then, expectations. So frame the worst, and where you go from there. Yeah. And hold on. And then another point is when you mentioned like approaching these people, like he got extremely lucky. That's 3 out of 5 cold calls. Like that's amazing. Honestly, I'm quite impressed. But like know that you're going to need multiple touch points. And when you go in, don't go in with, here's a mistake I made. I hit up one guy like almost 2 years ago. He has a great. I don't want to mention their company or his name. But he has a great company, great brand that I was really excited about. And I was like, he's a veteran as well. I was like, dude, you're going to want to talk to me. Okay, that's all wrong, right? Now, fast forward 2 years later, we're in talks to potentially become like some kind of partner relationship. But it was a huge lack of awareness on my part. Like, think about like what's in it for them. How are they going to perceive it, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yes, ma'am.
So to just add on the mental health portion, how to overcome all of those things, I would highly recommend one therapy, and also having a life coach, right? So when those challenges come up, it breaks open something in you that you may not have known was in there, or it may be new and you may not know how to navigate those emotional challenges. So having a therapist to help you identify, acknowledge, break down, and then having a life coach teach you how to go through all those phases and get the results that you need. So, and then community, right? Like when you're building a business and it's just you, that's a lot of overwhelm, a lot of pressure. And then too, for veterans coming into the civilian world, I have a family full of veterans, so sometimes that's a disconnect in itself, right? You're coming from a structured place to people who do whatever they want to do. Again, that's a lot to navigate emotionally. So having a therapist, having a life coach, and having a community are great resources.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Cool. Well, that concludes our session, I believe. Oh, hold on one second. I gotta hold on. And but yeah, thank you guys so much for the time. I was not expecting the conversation to go that way, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked, my company, Grow Solutions. We like to say we're at the intersection of AI and human connection. So I really love that theme looped in with us here.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you, Claudia.
Oh,
Appreciation.
thank you.
for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Sweet.
you.
Oh, thank you very
Blake,
much.
Blake's here. Thank you,
Thank
Claudia.
you. Thank you.
Okay, all right, let's sit.
Oh, cool. All right.
Oh, excuse me.
1, 3, 2, 1.
3, 2.